In the world we live in, appearance often deceives us. We see a woman who's small, petite, delicate, and instantly our subconscious draws conclusions. We assume she's fragile, gentle, maybe even timid. But psychology teaches us something profound. Physical size has nothing to do with emotional power. In fact, the smaller the frame, the greater the contrast when her inner world reveals itself. You see, feminine energy isn't about how tall she stands or how strong her body looks. It's about how deeply she feels, how gracefully she connects, and how confidently she expresses emotion. A small woman can walk into a room, say almost nothing, yet her presence demands attention. Not because she's loud, but because her energy speaks before her words do. Most petite women grow up in a world that constantly underestimates them. They're told they look young, delicate, or easily overlooked. But psychology tells us that when people are underestimated long enough, they either shrink or evolve. Many of these women evolve. They build emotional muscles that no one can see. They learn to observe, to read energy, to understand unspoken words. Their size might be small, but their awareness is vast. That's the shocking part. Their mind is sharper than their silhouette. Feminine energy, at its core, is about flow. It's emotional gravity, the invisible force that pulls people closer without demand. It's empathy, intuition, and emotional connection. When a small woman embraces this energy, she doesn't need to compete or compare. She radiates warmth, kindness, and stillness that disarms even the most dominant personalities. Her power lies in subtlety, and that subtlety can shake you to your core. Many men feel surprised when they meet such women. They expect gentleness, but they encounter depth. They expect fragility, but they find focus. They expect to protect, and instead, they feel emotionally awakened. That's the essence of feminine energy. It doesn't conquer with force. It conquers with presence. A small woman with emotional balance and self-worth can create an atmosphere of peace so strong that others begin to match her energy without even realizing it. From a psychological view, this comes from something called emotional regulation and adaptive intelligence. The ability to stay calm in chaos, to read emotional cues quickly, and to respond with emotional maturity. Petite women often develop these skills as protection mechanisms, which later become their greatest strengths. So, never underestimate her. Her energy might not roar, but it will resonate. Her presence might not fill the room, but it will fill your mind. She's proof that real power doesn't always come from size or sound. Sometimes it comes from silence. Sometimes it comes from the smallest person in the room who carries the biggest heart and the calmest soul. That's the mystery of feminine energy. It doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself slowly, deeply, and powerfully. And when it does, it reminds us that strength has no size. And energy, especially feminine energy, is the quietest thunder you'll ever feel. Physical size has no connection to the emotional strength or depth of a woman's inner world. Many people make the mistake of associating power, confidence, or capability with physical appearance. They look at a woman who is small in size and assume she is fragile, dependent, or less assertive. But human psychology teaches the opposite. Our external form often hides the complexity of what lies within. When a woman is small, she often learns early in life that her strength must come from something deeper than appearance. She begins to develop emotional intelligence, empathy, and mental resilience that far outweigh her physical frame. A petite woman's power often lies in her ability to surprise. People don't expect confidence wrapped in such a delicate presence. They don't expect courage to come from such a soft tone. Yet, it is precisely this contrast that makes her energy magnetic. She doesn't need to shout to be heard or stand tall to be seen. Her feminine energy flows quietly yet powerfully. When she walks into a room, it isn't her size that catches attention. It's the calm confidence in her eyes, the composure in her movements, and the warmth in her aura. This is the essence of feminine power, gentle but undeniable. From a psychological point of view, individuals who are underestimated tend to develop sharper emotional tools. A small woman becomes aware of how people perceive her, And instead of letting that limit her, she learns to observe human behavior closely. She listens deeply, picks up on emotional cues, and understands what drives people. Over time, this awareness transforms into emotional mastery. She doesn't rely on force to get her way. She relies on connection, understanding, and timing. Her intelligence becomes intuitive. She senses what others miss because her attention to emotion is heightened. There's also a spiritual aspect to this. Feminine energy thrives in balance, not in dominance. It's the power to influence through empathy rather than control, and many small-sized women embody this naturally. They move with grace, speak with intention, and carry a subtle authority that doesn't demand respect, but earns it effortlessly. They don't compete to prove their worth. They know it. That self-awareness radiates confidence that can quietly shift the atmosphere around them. In truth, it's not her size that defines her power. It's her presence. The woman who knows her inner value can be 5 feet tall and still make people stop and listen. Her emotional gravity can hold attention longer than any loud personality. She proves that strength doesn't always appear in large or loud forms. Sometimes it's quiet, calm, and wrapped in a small frame, yet it leaves a lasting impression that no one forgets. That's why psychology says never judge a woman's energy by her size. The smallest ones often carry the biggest spirits.